field, and also what is the level of their entropy, which is a very important function towards wellness. So we can see, number one, that the observation of the level of information in light on the fingers after the resetting is definitely enhanced. From here, we will now go to the screen that gives us precisely what the energy field distribution is. So now we can very clearly observe the picture on the left here. The picture on the left is there is a field of information. However, we see that there are lots of gaps of information, lots of gaps, and we can see that both on the right side and a little stronger on the left side. Now, soon after the resetting practice, we can see that the uniformity of information and exchange across the entire field is definitely enhanced. So that clearly illustrates that it is very supportive nature. Now we can look to the right. So when we look at a right projection, and we can see in the right projection very clearly that the area, especially all across in the lower back, all down the spinal column, has been significantly strengthened. And just to give a small indicator, that this value that you see over here classified as area is the number of pixels that surround a biobody field. And we can see that from 3,800 it is now almost 8,100. So it is more than 2.5 times the value, which is very significant. Then we look at left side projection. And again, when we look at left side projection, we can see that here there is strength already, and it has definitely been slightly more enhanced from 6,200 to 8,600. Well, that's a good 40%, at least a good 40% increase. So this is also very supportive. Now we can observe this in very clearly what took place before and after. The top part of the chart is what we just referred to earlier as area chart, and the yellow is before, the green is after, and we can see that has definitely been very supportive. And also the second chart here called entropy, and we can see that this person was already in very depleted state of energy, and by receiving the resetting, his energetic information began to get much more informed. So there was flow of information that we clearly observed. And again, a very significant part over here is this at the bottom, symmetry. So symmetry, which was only at 51% in the beginning, went up to 88%. So we can see that that is very significant in terms of what took place. Okay, that is that chart. Now we can go directly to observe energy distribution through all the organ systems of the body. So here we observe that there are two colors inside these two circles on the left and right. The left side correlates to all the organ systems on the left side of the body, and the right circle represents organ systems on the right side of the body. The inner core of each of these circles, pink in color, is hypofunction of energy. The green is stable function of energy, and the one above is hyperfunction of energy. So one could say that this is, the pink is low energy state, the green is stable energy state, which is precisely what it is. And now let us look at each configuration. The first one, the one that was red, and we observe. So we can see that the level, the value of left side, value on the right side, Both of them are very, very low, so you can see that this is a person who's feeling absolutely drained out in life, that there is no vital presence, no vital energy, that may be some strong component inside there that we can observe very, very clearly by looking at the diagram. What is the nature of the state of left-right hemispheres of brain? And we can observe that the right side here, which correlates to the left brain, and left side correlates to the right brain. The value that we see in parenthesis, 0.42 and 0.33, correlate to these left-right brain functions, both of whom, which are fairly within the stabilized range of this being. So it tells us that he is a person that already has a inner discipline in process. However, it has not been affirmed, so we don't see strengthening of such areas, and hence the dynamical flow of information that we see in here, so jagged and so staggered, is also how the signals are being sent through this bio-body field. So after the 1 hour of resetting, we can now observe what took place. And here we can see that definitely they have been strengthened, they have been expanded, and there has been a stirring, and that stirring has essentially what we would call is the flow of prana in the system. And the flow of prana in the system is now really creating an expansive nature inside this whole bio-body field at all the levels. So if we look at this, this really gives us more from a clinical perspective. So for a person who is a practitioner in the field of medicine, who is a chiropractor, holistic people in researchers in these areas, such charts would be highly, highly supportive to observe that a process as the resetting influenced this being in this manner, where we look at this chart and the top left and right is pre and the bottom left and right is post. And we can see collectively that the information of exchange in the system has definitely strengthened because it's going closer towards the green. If we looked at the next one and we saw the level of entropy in the system, and here we can see that the arena of entropy was 2.1 and 2.22 on the top. Now it is 2.12 and 2.15. So that references a process of the system between the left and right side seeking to calibrate so that there is a uniform or a self-organizing process that is being conveyed into the system. I mean, this is the dynamical intelligence of nature by itself. Some other very important pattern, and that one is, let's look at the chakras. There is a core. That core has been diluted, which we saw in the energy field. Now, when we see that, we look at root chakra, we look at chakra number 2, chakra number 3, all these values that you see on the top right hand side, minus 2.71, minus 2.49, minus 2, minus 2, almost. That means that one has literally relegated all connection to establishing one's core and strength, which means that there is a presence of disempowerment that is observed. And by the process of being informed, now we can affirm again principles that relate to coherence and self-organization are clearly being informed over here by the presence not only of the size of the chakras, because now when we go to the top right, we can observe that now they have gone from minus 2.5 etc. to minus 1.7, minus 1.45, minus 1.42. So this again is a a nourishing step for the presence of the resetting to this recipient who received the process with dear Andreas. So the data clearly illustrates this.
How do you explain the situation that the chakras are more in alignment, that they are more in one line?
Again, this comes to some very insightful observations. And the insightful observations are when information as conveyance. So again, information and light is the conveyance in all our dynamical systems. And we are governed in light. So when we are receiving intent-guided information, what is the response of a field, of a presence, is to enhance self-organizing domains. So towards self-organization, towards inner stability, towards presence. So if we are affirmed from within, is a clear example of that is a wisdom thought that we have been raised with in India, is that what is within us is perfection, what is without is imperfection. The outer world can have perfection only when the inner world inspires, guides, molds and shapes the outer world. So we see that such presences, such influence ennobles the human biofield to seek to align, to seek to cohere. And how else can this be if it is not guided in light and strength?